Wait, what's going on YouTube? It's Donnie all day. So this is a file knife I'm working on, and I started it. I want to say I don't know a year or two ago, and like a lot of my a lot of the knives I make, I just put it on the back burner for a little while. This one really all it needs now. Look at that bevel's cut in real nice. Um, it's got that really sweet palm cut so you can push. Um, but I put this one on hold, and all it needs really is for me to heat treat it, which means I just need to get more propane so I can light the forge up. But I get my mind is so fluty that I just put things off. But I mean, you can see that bevel is cut in real nice. That's cut in real nice. The knife was coming out great, but it's a heat treat and an edge, then some scales, and it's done. With this one, I started it, and I just started grinding a little bit, and this was flat. And then last night I took it, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll just do some handle work. And then I started thinking, oh wait, you know what? I got some scales that are kind of crappy. It was that what do you call it? I can't even think of it right now. It's escaping my head. But these crappy scales came off a very expensive knife, and I'm like, this is the scales, the Harsey Reeves combo. That's what it was. It was the Bill Harsey Reeves knife, and the knife was great and terrible at the same time. The design wasn't very good all the way around the boards. And one of the pieces in the design I didn't care for is these scales. But for something cheap that I don't care about, I think I'm just going to use them on here and modify the scales just a little bit. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I might just use these on there to give that. So I am in the process of cutting this down to match this. It's pretty simple. All you do, I still have some marker right there. You can see the marker. I just laid it down to where I wanted it and then drew it. So now I'm going to cut out everything I don't need. I'll probably modify this whole area back here, and all should be good. Now, with this, the good thing is a file is already heat treated. These are already hard. They're already done right. So the key is, if you're going to modify a file, do it so you don't ruin the heat treat. Now, I found out that this part back here isn't really heat treated. They kind of like stick it in and heat treat the main file part. And the reason I found this out was because the great Captain Electro, I made these cool throwing spikes where I had the ends of these as the actual spike, and you'd throw from the file area, and he was able to break one like that. And it's because this part is not heat treated like this part. Lesson learned. So basically what I do is I keep a bottle like this, fill it with water. You can see how deep that's going to go. While I'm working on the edge, I can constantly keep it from getting too hot, and that's where you're gonna ruin your heat treat, is letting it get too hot. So always have water. So what I did is I wanted to get a nice even bevel on both sides, to the same height. So I started by giving it a flat grind. I went right down and grind, did a flat grind. Then I began to convex that flat grind, and that's where I'm at now. The good thing about doing a convex, which I don't really care too much for, is it kind of creates an edge as you go, and then it's about honing. Where if you're doing a full flat, then when you get to a certain point, you can see how round that is. That would need to have its own edge on here, where this one is its own edge. You kind of understand that? So I thought I'd just get back to it and work on it a little bit more and see where it goes. So what I want to do today is I want to shore up this just a little bit, and I want to try and get this to fit this. So that's what I'm going to work on. Oh. Alright, so I got my Diablo belt. I have a really coarse belt on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the top of this guy where it's round. A good start. hitting some of that handle. And I really want to get that finger groove. More belts down here. I want to get that finger groove to match up really close to the one that's on there without going under. So now I have to do the big part. And of course my line is half gone, but I'll get there. Now I can go a little bit longer on the grip than I can on the edge, because it's the actual blade, because the actual blade needs to be the hardest. So I'm going to sit it at one spot and try to meet it up to this line, and then I'm going to take out the middle in between. I already did right here. Let's see here. That's working. That's working. It's all coming down. You can see it's getting some nice groove in there. And I just gotta mate it to this one. And so every now and then I just give it a quick look and see exactly where I'm at. Now if I wanted, I could kind of do a cheat and try to hold it there, but this thing's moving all over the place, and then this will just keep shifting and it'll screw me up in the long run. So I'm just going to eyeball it pretty much. Once I get it to where I want it, then I just continue to line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig out some more here, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so now you can see I have that point right there, and that's good. So that means all I got to do is take out from here to here. Not so bad. Alright, so as you can see, now I have the shape that I want for this grip, and it's coming together really, really well. So it's going to hold in there. Now I don't have to have it exact right now. Once the grip is on there, then what I can do is make it a little, snug it up and make it a little better. But what I think I want to do is I want to take off this completely so I can knock that down in the end. So what I'll probably do is bring my water over here and then go from the belt grinder to a stone grinder, and I broke my light bulb, so I gotta turn this around, and then do it this way. And so now what I'll do, instead of going and grinding forever, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just try to notch it. And the more I notch the sides, I'll bring them into each other, and then it'll just fold off and snap. And then it'll be really easy to shore up after that. It'll be really easy. You can already see how it's denting in. Oop, wrong move. Best way to make sure it's not too hot to the touch. That's coming down real nice. Real nice. So I'll knock this off. You can see how that's going, right? It's just coming right down. So I get these files. I'll go to like antique stores and things like that. Look at that, snaps right off. And I'll find these things all over the place. I buy them all the time because you can get them for like $1 to $3 and make yourself an actual working knife. That sounds pretty good to me. An actual working knife that you pay $3 for, and then you could use anything for scales, really. I just happen to have a set that are doing nothing. So now I'm going to get this nub down. just like that. You got the end of a tang. So now it's going to be looking much better. It's going to be really nice when I shore this thing up. That's what it looks like right there. You can see it's not beyond it. It's just perfect right there. So what I'm going to end up doing is taking off this heel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it lined up right now so I can see this point. So I want to see how much steel I need to take off. And I'm right here, and I'm going to end up cutting off some of this. So I'm just going to kind of push. Just like that, I'm rounding it out. And then when it needs to get the actual handle off, I'm just going to do the same thing. That stuff's going to grind down real fast. It's just cheap plastic rubber. They didn't put a lot of money into this grip, I'll tell you that. If they did, I'd be surprised. But just like that, I'm going to end up getting more. I'll take out that little notch and everything. But from there, I know that it's going to be a nice grip for this knife. So I know I have the I have that top tube where this thing goes over the spine. That's just going to be a quick takedown of the plastic until I get to the steel. And then what I'm going to have to do is right here it kind of dips. So I need to find that spot and just grind away a little bit until I get to that point. And just like that, voila. So now I'll just take down my my spine there, just like that, and I'll have a really nice clean fit, right? So I'll modify this grip enough to where it's going to work, even on the bottom where this swell is. And I'll take out that point right now just so I can have something to look at and start measuring up. So I have all that whole piece needs to come off of there. So I just need to press real hard with my thumbs to hold my grip steady. And as soon as I see a spark, I know my grip is there. So just like that. Now I'm going to edge the grip. Just like that. And now you'll see it's there. So my grip is actually going to be that. And that little bit right there is going to hold my fingers from going forward. I mean, it's pretty simple. So now what I want to do is I'm going to look at my hand. I want to see where this fits, and I'm going to take off just enough of that end. Just by going in a circle. You'll see how easy that goes, right? So just really nice, really simple. And what that's going to do is going to give me a nice, comfortable grip. I want a grip that's going to be more comfortable than when it started, and that is going to do really, really well. So now it comes down to just continuing my my actual blade. So I'm going to start from the ricasso, and I'm going to press in. And come all the way through. I want this to be nice and clean and smooth all the way. Now this is just a utility knife. I can use it as a throwing knife, it doesn't matter. So it's just for preference. It doesn't need to be that pretty, but I want to make it at least decent. For every couple passes, definitely get it wet, definitely get it cooled off. And you can see right there, it's looking nice. I still have a couple ridges from when I had it as a flat grind, so I just got to knock down some more. That's looking pretty nice. Let's see if I can get it in the light there. There we go. That's looking pretty nice. So now I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. You'll know you're getting to the point when you don't see a space in between the belt and the edge. When you're going through, if you see a space, that means you haven't taken off enough material in the center there. So you have to just keep taking off material, more material, more material. But this one's looking really, really nice. So it's easy to wonder the difference between a flat grind. Yeah, that bevel's nice. Let's cut in. The difference between a flat grind and a convex. For a flat grind, you see this piece of steel back here, it's a plate right there, and it gives no flex in the belt, so when you press against it, it's grinding flat. And that's how I cut in my first line where I wanted to start. Up here, there's nothing back there, so when you press it, the belt bows, and that's going to give that curve to the blade, and it's going to give that roundness. And for this blade, because I'm not a big fan of that, any 12-year-old with a belt grinder can make that kind of grind. I want it for that just because of the blade. It's going to be a utility blade, so I'm not really worried about it. But let's get a couple more grinds there. A lot of people like to use a jig for this. I just like to go by hand and eye, just all control. And I don't know, for me, I get more out of it, like rewarded wise, because I don't know, it lets me know that I'm doing a better job than letting some piece of machinery do it. You know what I mean? Like a jig, something to hold it and to force it that way. But I don't know, doing it all by hand, doing it all by eye, just makes you a better knife maker. It helps you with control too. So when it comes time to doing edges and things like that, you're going to have more control doing it. This one's getting pretty sharp already because of the convex grind. I don't have to put an extra bevel on it. What I'll do is I'll just fine it up. I'll go real light once it's done, but I got to make sure first, really see, I want to make sure there's no gap. It looks like my entire edge is being hit, so that's good. Super close. I'm going to give it a few more passes. All right, so it's looking pretty good, pretty darn good. So I'm liking what I have here. Now it comes down to the scales. So what I have to do though, because this is hardened, I don't have drill bits that are going to go through without wearing them out or snapping them. I am going to JB weld the snot out of this and just clamp it on and let it dry for 24 hours. But so far, this is what we have, and it's not so bad. So I put the drill on there just to see how long it would take to get it going. I first used a small bit, then a bigger bit. This is so well hardened, it does not want to go through, and that gives me a really good feeling about that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and just glue on the scales and let it rest. And I'll do another video soon of just shoring that up, getting all this finalized and finished, and then who knows, I might even re-blue it and make it look pretty nice. But I mean, not so bad. It's a file knife, right? You see them all over the place. People sell them for big money sometimes. You could pay $3 and just make one yourself. Get a 1x3 belt grinder, some Diablo belts, and you're going to be good. I mean, you get enough of these damn things, you can make just about anything. But so far, so good. I like the way it's turning out. Let's see how it is at the end. Hi, I'm Donnie B all day. Till next video.